Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber, was born on May 22, 1942. He was born in Chicago, Illinois. Kaczynski was a really good child who was showing great academic excellence from when he was pretty young in age. He had begun attending Harvard University at age 16. He subsequently received his PhD in mathematics from the University of Michigan. Kaczynski, though a success on the academic front, did not fare so well on social interactions, and gradually he withdrew himself from society completely. In 1971, he had shifted to a remote cabin in Montana. His bombings were from 1978 to 1995. He targeted people associated with the new technology and industrialized world. For nearly 2 decades, he mailed bombs, which he had built in his apartment, via the U.S. Postal Service to colleges, airlines, and other individuals. His attacks killed 3 people and injured 23. He is one of the most notorious domestic terrorists in American history. Some of the unique characteristics he showed were that he wanted his manifesto published in major newspapers. In 1995, he threatened to call off his series of bombings if his written works were to be published. The manifesto argues that human dignity and freedom are badly damaged by an improvement in technology. Kaczynski believed people would not be able to rebuild their society because they were too heavily dependent on technology, and what they needed was radical transformation. He eventually wrote a manifesto, with public attention that had by now increased due to publications of both the New York Times and the Washington Post. His reasoning was pretty convincing to many readers as well as scholars who strongly opposed his use of violence. Kaczynski could remain elusive to the FBI for almost 17 years. He was caught in April 1996 because his brother, David Kaczynski, recognized the writing style of the published manifesto and got in touch with the police. Ted was caught at his cabin in Montana where the FBI uncovered a treasure trove of evidence including materials to manufacture bombs and many handwritten notes. In 1998, Kaczynski pleaded guilty to all counts and received a life sentence without a possibility of parole. He remained remorseless and continued making statements that his crusade was an act in the right against the dangers that technology society brings. His case led to the bringing into the discussion topics related to mental health, radicalization, and how technology impacts lives nowadays. The Unabomber case is very interesting and frightening illustration of the homegrown terrorism perceived with the United States. The deeds of Kaczynski, combined with a sophisticated critique of industrial society, remain the talk of the town on issues of technology and freedom. Books, documentaries, and films have been written and produced to narrate his life story and his crimes, which indicates the interest in his ideology and in the psychological causes of his acts of violence.